What if everything you've ever been told about manifestation, about believing before you receive, was completely backwards? What if the whole idea that you just need to force yourself to believe something out of thin air before there is any evidence is actually the biggest roadblock standing between you and what you want? Hi, I'm Mohammed. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a truth about manifestation that most people get fundamentally wrong. You see, for years, books and gurus have hammered home this idea that you must first have unwavering, unshakable belief in something you can't yet see or feel, and then it will magically appear in your life. But I'm here to tell you that's not how human beings actually work. That's not how a belief truly forms. And once you understand the truth, once you grasp what I'm about to share with you, manifestation won't feel like a struggle anymore. It'll feel natural, it'll feel inevitable. You're going to walk away from this video with a clear, actionable path to finally manifest the life you truly want. Guys, I'm sorry for not showing my face. I'm not well with the camera yet, but please watch this video till the end because what I'm about to tell you is gonna blow your mind. I'm not gonna ask you to like or subscribe, just watch till the end, and if you found it interesting, then make sure to like, comment, and sub to the channel. Also folks, I've got a free ebook for you called The Magic of Affirmations. It'll help you use affirmations the right way to manifest wealth and align your mind with abundance. So check the link in the description to grab it for free. Alright, let's get into it. So you've probably heard it a million times, right? From books like The Secret to countless online courses, the mantra is always the same: believe before you receive. Just visualize it, affirm it, feel it as if it's already here, and boom, it'll show up. Sounds simple, right? And for some maybe it clicks, but for the vast majority of people it feels like an uphill battle, a constant struggle to force a feeling, to pretend something is real, when every fiber of their being, every piece of evidence in their current reality tells them it's not. And that, my friends, is where the whole thing breaks down, because that's not how belief actually works in the human mind. Think about it. When you learn that gravity exists, did you just decide to believe it one day, even though you'd never seen anything fall? No, you saw things fall. You dropped a ball. You walked around without floating off into space. You had countless experiences, countless pieces of evidence that showed you gravity was real, and then belief formed. You didn't believe in your friend until they showed up on time, or kept a promise, or were there for you when you needed them. You experienced their reliability, and then you believed they were a good friend. See the pattern here? Belief, true deep and wavering belief, is not a prerequisite to experience, it's a result of experience. And this, guys, is the game changer. This is the truth that sets you free. Because if belief comes after experience, then you don't have to struggle to force it. You don't have to fake it until you make it and feel like an imposter the whole time. Instead, your job is to create the conditions for those experiences, those confirmations to start showing up. So, if believe before you receive is wrong, what's the real first step? It's not belief, it's focus. That's right. What you consistently focus on, what you put your attention on, what you think about, talk about, and visualize, that's what your mind starts looking for. And whatever your mind looks for, it finds. And whatever it finds, it brings more into your awareness. It's like turning on a mental radar. Let me break down my process for you, because it's powerful, it's natural, and it works with the way your mind is wired, not against it. First things first, you need to get clear on what you want, not just more money or a better job, but what identity aligns with that outcome. Who is the person who has that? What does that person do? What do they feel? Once you had that clarity, you craft affirmations not as desperate pleas, but as statements of that desired identity or outcome. For example, if you want more financial abundance, instead of I hope I get rich, you might say, I am a powerful magnet for wealth, or money flows easily and consistently into my life, or even I am financially free and abundant. These aren't wishes, they are declarations of who you are becoming or what you are experiencing. Now, here is the crucial part. You repeat these affirmations consistently, every single day, in the morning, throughout the day, before bed. You don't have to chant them like a mantra for hours, but you do need to infuse them into your daily thoughts. You're essentially training your brain, you're giving it new instructions. And yes, doubts will trip in. Your old programming, your current reality will scream at you. This isn't true, and that's totally okay. You don't fight the doubts, you just acknowledge them and gently, persistently return your focus to your chosen affirmations. You keep sowing those new seeds in the garden of your mind. As you consistently focus on these new thoughts, something incredible starts to happen. Your mind, being the powerful search engine that it is, starts to notice things, small things, tiny, seemingly insignificant confirmations. This is where you need to be observant. This is where you need to be like a detective looking for clues. Let's say you're affirming, I am a powerful magnet for wealth. You might suddenly notice a small unexpected refund in your bank account, or an old friend pays you back $10 they owed you from ages ago. Maybe you get a discount on something you were planning to buy, or an opportunity for extra work pops up that you hadn't anticipated. Perhaps you simply find a dollar bill on the street. These aren't grand, life-changing events, not yet, but they are evidence. They are small confirmations that your new focus is starting to shift things in your reality. And here is the magic. As these tiny confirmations happen, as you notice them, acknowledge them, and appreciate them, they start to feel normal. That's the key. That feeling of normalcy, that's the true building block of belief. When you find that dollar on the street and you think, that's interesting, money does seem to be flowing to me, you're not forcing belief, you're simply observing a piece of evidence. And as these small pieces accumulate, as you see more and more tiny confirmations, that feeling of normalcy around your desired outcome grows stronger. Think about it like going to the gym. When you first start, you don't just believe you're strong. You go to the gym, you lift weights, you feel the burn. You might even see a tiny bump in your bicep after a few weeks. That's your first piece of evidence. And then you lift a little heavier. You do a few more reps. You start to feel a little stronger. And then you start to believe you're getting stronger. You don't just walk in on day one and decide, I am strong, and then magically get ripped. No, you take action, you get evidence, and then the belief starts to form. And once that belief is formed, it becomes self-sustaining. You don't have to force yourself to believe you're strong anymore. You just know it because you've seen the evidence over and over. The same goes for building confidence. You don't just wake up one day and say, I am confident, and suddenly feel it. You might take a small step, like speaking up in a meeting, and it goes okay. That's a small piece of evidence. Then you volunteer for a project and you do well. Another piece of evidence. Each small success builds upon the last, and slowly, naturally, the feeling of confidence starts to grow. It becomes normal. You don't have to force it anymore. So your job is not to force belief. Your job is to consistently choose thoughts that align with who you want to be. or what you want to experience. Your job is to focus on those thoughts and then to be hyper aware of the evidence, no matter how small, that starts to show up in your reality. And as that evidence accumulates, as those small confirmations become more and more frequent, that feeling of normalcy builds. And that feeling of normalcy, my friends, is belief. It's belief that has been earned, not faked. Look at some of the most successful people out there. They didn't just wake up one day and believe in their massive success out of thin air. They had a clear focus. They looked consistent action. And they gathered evidence along the way. Take Jim Carrey, for instance. He famously wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, dated it for Thanksgiving 1995. Now, did he believe he was a $10 million actor before he even had a major role? Not in the way believe before you receive usually implies. What he did was focus intensely on that outcome. He chose an identity. He repeated that commitment to himself. He worked relentlessly honing his craft, making himself visible. And then he got the evidence, small roles, bigger roles, eventually leading to Dumb and Dumber, which grossed over $100 million. And by 1995, he was making $20 million a picture. The check was his focusing tool, a declaration of his chosen reality. The subsequent experiences and successes provided the overwhelming evidence that solidified his belief, making it undeniable. He didn't just will belief into existence, he used focus and action to create experience that built the belief. Think about Oprah Winfrey. Her journey was filled with immense struggle, poverty, abuse. She didn't start out with an unshakable belief that she would become a media mogul. What she had was a deep and wavering focus on using her voice, on connecting with people, on making a difference. Each small step, each local TV gig, each interview that went well, each viewer who wrote in was a piece of evidence. Every time she pushed through adversity and found a way forward, that was a confirmation. These accumulating experiences didn't just make her confident, they built an impenetrable belief in her purpose and her ability to impact millions. Her belief was forged in the fire of consistent effort and undeniable results, big and small. Even concepts from someone like Neville Goddard, often misinterpreted, align with this. When he talks about feeling is the secret, he isn't saying to force a superficial emotion of belief. He's talking about imagining your desired state so vividly, so consistently that it starts to feel natural, to feel like an accepted fact within your mind. When it feels normal, when it feels like the natural state of being for you, then the physical manifestation is simply the outer reflection of that inner normalcy. The feeling of it is done isn't a forced belief, it's the natural outcome of consistent, focused imagination that has produced an inner sense of knowing and acceptance. That inner normalcy is the evidence your mind creates, which then leads to outer evidence. Dr. Joe Dispenza, a brilliant scientist, talks about changing your brain and body through focused intention. He explains how repeated thoughts and emotions create neural pathways. When you consistently focus on a new identity, a new outcome, you are literally rewiring your brain. And as you do this, your body starts to respond. You might feel subtle shifts, experience new insights, or see unexpected synchronicities. These are the internal and external pieces of evidence that then reinforce your new neural pathways, strengthening the belief until it becomes your new default state. He shows you how to create the internal reality first, which then influences the external providing the evidence needed for belief. This is critical to understand. Every belief you hold right now, whether it serves you or limits you, was built in this exact same way. It wasn't just a random decision. It was formed through repeated thoughts, repeated experiences, and confirming evidence. If you believe you're not good enough, it's not because you chose that belief. It's because you repeatedly focused on thoughts of inadequacy, probably based on past experiences or criticisms. And those thoughts lead to confirming evidence in your life, solidifying that belief. The good news is, if a belief can be built this way, it can also be unbuilt and rebuilt in a way that serves you. So let's reiterate, you don't need to force belief. That's trying to put the cart before the horse. Instead, you need to focus consistently on the reality you desire. You choose thoughts, affirmations, and mental images that align with that desired reality. You repeat them, you embody them mentally, and then you become a diligent observer, looking for every single piece of evidence, every confirmation, big or small, that your efforts are paying off. As those confirmations accumulate, the feeling of normalcy sets in, and that is when true unshakable belief forms. And once that belief is solid, once it feels completely normal to you, that's when your manifestation becomes effortless. It's just how things are. This approach removes the pressure, the struggle, the feeling of having to lie to yourself. It allows you to work with your brain's natural mechanisms for forming beliefs and habits. It empowers you because it gives you a clear, actionable path forward, starting right where you are. So start today. Choose your desired identity, your desired outcome. Craft those affirmations. Repeat them consistently, gently, persistently, and then open your eyes. Look for the evidence. Celebrate every single confirmation, no matter how tiny. Watch as those small pieces of normalcy build into an unshakable belief, and witness your desired reality unfold before you. And hey, don't forget to download your free copy of The Magic of Affirmations in the description, so you can start using affirmations the right way to align with wealth and abundance. Thank you for watching, and expect more interesting videos like this on this channel. Now, it's up to you whether you want to like, comment, and sub to the channel or not. Remember, what you're about to explore on this channel from now on is something really deep.